There is nothing more British than a good cup of tea, or a cuppa as it's also known. So today I'm going to show you how to make the perfect cup of tea, and I'm going to teach you some super useful English along the way. Alright, let's look at some important vocabulary related to tea. An informal word for a cup of tea is a cuppa. A cuppa. So if someone asks you, do you fancy a cuppa? They're asking, do you want a cup of tea? In the north of England, you're more likely to hear brew. Do you fancy a brew? It's the same thing, a cup of tea. In London, you might hear someone say Rosie Lee. Rosie Lee. This is Cockney rhyming slang for tea. So do you fancy a cup of Rosie? Means, do you fancy a cup of tea? You're less likely to hear that one, but it's good to know. Alright, I'm going to need 7 things to make this perfect cuppa. A kettle, a mug, or a cup if you prefer, a teaspoon, a tea bag, water, obviously, milk, and sugar, depending on how you take your tea. So I use Yorkshire tea. This is my personal favourite. I just like the taste of it. It's got a great flavour, nice strong flavour. There are lots of other different brands that you can try. This is black tea, okay, black tea, or it's also known as English breakfast tea. And it's delicious. All right, step 1, fill up the kettle with water. Now the key tip here is never boil the water twice. You lose oxygen in the water and it will affect the flavour of your tea. Then pop your tea bag into your mug and fill your mug up with water, but leave enough room for milk. Some people avoid pouring the water directly onto the tea bag, but I've never noticed it to be a problem with an ordinary tea bag. Step 3, you've got to leave the tea to brew for about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on your taste. And you can kill that time doing whatever you want. Luckily for us, we have enough time to learn 3 great phrases with the word tea in. Okay, once the time is up and you think the tea has brewed properly, use a spoon to squeeze some extra flavour out of the tea bag and pop it into the bin. Key tip here, only use the tea bag once. Never reuse a tea bag. That's a sin. Step 5, you get to add your milk and sugar. If you add a small amount of milk, it's described as strong tea. Strong tea. If you put lots of milk in, it's described as milky tea. Sugar is measured in teaspoons. So you have 1 sugar is 1 teaspoon of sugar, 2 sugars, 2 teaspoons of sugar. Personally, I like mine milk, no sugar. I'm sweet enough. And that, my friends, is how you get the perfect cup of tea. Cheers. Amazing. Guys, you know what goes well with a good cup of tea? A biscuit. It's common for people to dip or dunk their biscuit into their tea. Just don't leave it in there too long. Otherwise, you get a biscuit all in your tea. It's a disaster. And there you have it, the perfect cup of tea. Alright, so let's put it into a conversation. Somebody will say to you, would you like a cup of tea? Or do you fancy a cuppa? Or do you fancy a brew? You say, yeah, thank you. They will ask you, how do you take it? And this means, do you want milk? Do you want sugar? Etc. So you can say, yeah, milk, no sugar, please. And that means I'll have a bit of milk, but no sugar. Or you could say milk and 1 sugar. Alright, that means milk with 1 teaspoon of sugar. Milk and 2 sugars. You get the idea. You might want to add extra information. So can I have it quite strong, please? Or quite milky, to explain how much milk you want. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that little lesson teaching you how to make the perfect cup of tea.